Hi, my lovely people. So, guys, you guys know that I opened up a new, playlist that I wanted to do. And I wanted to do Warrior Women because everyone's saying, oh, why did you start this? We did the first one with Tammy Roman, but I really wanted to start this because we can always talk about drama, right? But it's time to talk about other things that get our mind and brain flowing, okay? So today we're going to talk about forgiveness. And one of the things that I'm going to just tell you how I am. There are just some things that are not forgivable. You can agree or disagree with me. But number one, if you mess with my child or family, that is hands down unforgivable. If you mess with my household, meaning my way of living, if you mess with my money, meaning the way that I provide for my family and living. And then any kind of boyfriend, girlfriend, spousal, that kind of thing, like cheating or, conniving or things like that. Those are typical things that I just say, boop, no forgiving, no forgiving. And when I say no forgiving, trust and believe me, there are people that have done me wrong. So let me just say that. And it's not that I don't forgive them, I forgive them for myself, but me ever talking to them, acknowledging them, being around them, even really acting as though they even exist on earth. That's my, like, oh no, I can't do it. There's like, if you break some of those boundaries, there's no going back from those, okay? But as we do with women over here, we have to have, a case subject. So that's how I feel. We'll get into that more. But I just want to show something that I came across. And you guys can also, like, just tell me how you feel about it. So let me play this clip.
Oldest son Malik is charged with stabbing his brother and sister to death and stabbing his father.
Oh, and Molly, this one, well, it has the whole community upset.
The crime stunned the Colorado Springs community.
That deadly attack happened at about 1 o'clock this morning.
Take me back to October 17th. What's the day like?
That is kind of a painful part about all of this is that it was a very normal, enjoyable day. We kind of did the same routine that we always do, and had dinner, and it was a nice night, and so we were all outside as a family.
And even Malik, because not all the time Malik comes outside to play with them in the evenings with the little kids, and he did that night. He was out there playing with Vinny and Elijah and Noah and everybody, and they were all playing football, and yeah, everything was, and then we came inside and did the whole bedtime routine, and my very last sentence was, "Mommy loves you."
Shortly after 1 a.m., I awoke to the sound of Sophia's voice saying, "No, Malik, no." And got up. As soon as I reached the threshold of the doorway, Malik turned, met me face to face, and then his hand went up when he had a knife and down in my neck. I instantly reacted and just pushed him through the garage door there, and into the garage, and yelled for help. I mean, some of the yells were for help, and some of it was the realization that he had done what we feared he would do.
For years, Vincent and Melissa stood by their son in his battles with mental illness. He'd been in and out of treatment centers for thoughts of violence, but he'd never acted on them, and therapists cleared him to be back at home.
At what point do you realize?
Okay, guys. So let me give a little backstory on this, okay? The Murphy's son, who is 20 years old, his name is Malik. He was arrested for stabbing and killing his 5-year-old sister Sophia and 7-year-old brother Noah. Now, I know a lot of people are like, okay, who all were in the home? So let's give a little backstory. This is just, a regular old family. They had 5 children, the 2 parents, and the elderly grandmother were all living in the home at the time. On the bottom floor was Elijah, who was 11, Malik, the two younger children and the grandma, and then the upstairs loft, which is like, a big room, was for the parents, okay? So, yes, he stabbed both of his siblings in their sleep before the parents heard yelling and screaming and came out to try and help and stop what was going on. The father was trying to take the weapon from the son, and the son actually stabbed him in the neck. Thank God he's alive and he survived it. Now, I know you guys, this is what I mean forgiveness. This is their child, okay? Now, this was a few years ago, so let me just tell you. Their son Malik was in prison, still is, by the way. And on top of that, he was evaluated by numerous psychiatrists, okay? And he was deemed sane when he committed the murders. He went on to try and appeal it. They had 60 days of psychiatric care for him. He was tested up and down and he was deemed sane. So I know in the clip it says that he had some, mental struggles and acts of violence, and they cleared him. So everything, he was on no medication, he was on nothing when he did this. He gave no signs, you know. And as I read more about it, it seems like Malik's outcries for anger was more towards adults, and it was also towards people at school. That's what landed him. But keep in mind, because I know parents will, and people like us will say, well, why didn't they get help? We just seen on the clip that he had just got out of a mental institution and was cleared to come home. So the parents were trying to start a new, fresh start. In case you guys are wondering, he was sentenced to 96 years in prison. He is appealing, because he's trying to say he's insane, but there really is no appeal or doctor that will say he was insane. Now, let's go to this one right here. How do you forgive this? I've been keeping up with this story and I've been keeping up with the case because they recently did an update and it had both parents sitting at the cemetery. They were saying happy birthday to their daughter, who would now be 8. And they were talking about if they speak to their son. And they said, yes, they do. They have visited him. They do, put money on his books. They do still make him feel like he's a part of family. Keep in mind, he does have other siblings. Like we said, it was a house of 5 children. 2 were deceased, and then we have Malik, so we have 2 more left. They do not allow the other children to see the brother. They did say in another statement that their one son that was 11 at the time, of course, is now, getting up in his teenage years and is deciding if he wants to reach out to the brother. Now, what this is, see how this just switched up everybody's mind and makes you think? Because this right here, remember everything I listed? I said, family, your household, your money, your spouse. But what do you do when it's your child that harmed your other children? And in the case of the father, not only harmed the children, but harmed him as well. Now, oh man, that's a big pill to swallow. Anybody watching this would know that that is a big pill to swallow. So this is where warrior women come into play. It gives you time to think because, see, I said what I thought about forgiveness before I went into this. This right here, me personally, knowing that it's my child, I would have to do some deep searching into my soul, do some deep praying, but you can't just throw your child to the wolves. So this is what I mean. I want to know what other women, other mothers, other fathers, other people think. So it makes it almost, when I see something like this, it makes like regular things such as, oh, you talked about me, or, oh, you did this, and oh, you did. Those are just like molecule things. I always tell my audience I hold grudges, and I do. I am one of those people that you do me wrong, man, there's no coming back from it. There just isn't. Like, if you do me wrong and you do me dirty, I cannot come back, speak to you ever again. There is no sit down. There is no talking. There is no nothing. And then this pops up and makes me think, what the heck? Now, don't anybody think that while watching this, and I'm saying, what the heck, that I forgive anybody on YouTube. No, I still hold grudges. But this is a whole different thing of a child. So what I need you guys to do, if you want to look into this before you comment or anything like that, you can Google Murray, the Murphys or the Murrays. They both go by Bo, stabbing in Colorado Springs. Get you, some backstory. I tried to give you as much as I could, but let me know what you think. What route would you take? Is this forgivable? Could you speak to the child? Could you, welcome him into your heart again? Guys, I love you, and I am really looking forward to the comments. I will see you guys later.